Hey, today I want to talk about one of the new features of Unreal Engine 5.2, Procedural Content Generation. Last week I made a video about a plugin called IA Scatter, where the new PCG system is similar but gives you full control and a ton of possibilities. Like the geometry nodes in Blender, you use a node graph to generate and modify geometry. This is still in development, so it can be unstable and some features are not working yet, but I will show you how to get started with a basic scattering system that you can use right now. First, you have to download the new 5.2 version Preview 1, then go to the plugin section and enable the framework. Now you can right-click in the content browser and create a new PCG graph, then drag it into your scene. Take the landscape information from the input and plug that into a surface sampler that will scatter points on top of it. Hit D on the node to enable debugging and see the points that are generated. Now plug this into a transform points node where you can adjust the scale and rotation of the points. And that's it. Now you can turn the points into meshes with a static mesh spawner. Turn off debugging and reduce the number of points in the sampler. Cool, so now we have scattering. But to make the trees look more realistic, they need to be straight. We can do that by turning on absolute rotation. Give them a more natural look with the X and Y values. Okay, but what if you go to a very deep slope? There shouldn't be as many trees, so let's get back to the graph. After the surface sampler, add a normal to density and a density filter node. It will look at the normal data from the landscape and filter the points automatically. You need to tweak the settings a little bit. Personally, I like to disable the meshes with E and enable debugging to better see what I'm doing. Now that looks good. You can add more trees to add variation and even add overmeshes like rocks and foliage. But there's another problem. In some cases you can have meshes spawn into overmeshes. To fix this, we need to look at the bounds of our objects. They are basically the points that we see in debugging. Add a bounds modifier to fit them closer to the shape of your meshes. Then add a difference node and set it to binary to output only points that are not intersecting with the others. Well, it's perfect now. Except, what if you have some structure blocking the top of the trees? With our actual system, they just clip through it. There's a great node we can add to solve this problem. The Get Actor Data node. It's a way to retrieve data from a selected actor in your world. In my scene, I created a simple cube that I want a PCG system to interact with. To do that, you need to switch it to all world actors and use a tag to select your mesh. In your mesh properties, scroll down to Actor and add a tag. Type the same tag name in the node to reference it, then plug it to a difference node. To get this working, we need to make sure the bounds are set correctly to represent the tree's height. As you can see here, there are trees that should be spawned if we didn't check for collision. Once it's all set up, the trees will be removed if they collide with the selected mesh. Well, that's it for this overview of a basic scattering using the new PCG system. If you haven't watched my presentation of the IA Scatter plugin, I still recommend to check it out because it's pretty much plug and play. You can get to work really fast and don't have to reinvent the wheel every time. However, this new feature is very promising and will be a complete game changer once it's released and polished. We can only expect more use cases out of it. I spent a lot of time trying to get a mesh to point cloud working, a technique I always find really cool, but I didn't manage to get a good result yet. As you can see, the basis is there, but a lot of nodes don't work as intended or don't work at all. There isn't any documentation for now, so it's very tough to actually understand how to set it up. I hope this will be properly documented when 5.2 is live, because it's kind of a headache at this point. Anyway, you can expect more content on the features of 5.2 and PCG in the future, so please consider subscribing to the channel. Also, if you have any requests on a specific subjects you want me to cover or any feedback on this tutorial, please let me know in the comments below. Oh, and a bonus for you if you made it this far. You can simply copy and paste my whole node tree by following the link in the description. Thanks a lot for your support and see you soon. Bye.